brilliant, eccentric, iconoclastic, swashbuckling, evil genius.
Fam, please man, it's not these guys. Yeah, it's this guy. Have you heard of Dominic Cummings? Well, if you haven't, you should probably listen up, because this is the man largely credited as the architect of the Brexit Vote Leave campaign. He's currently spearheading Britain's official move out of the European Union, and some even say he's basically running British PM Boris Johnson's current government. A 1 in 66 million character, Cummings is a senior British political strategist, officially Chief Special Advisor to Boris Johnson. In mob language, he would be the consigliere, the man behind the scenes who runs the show puppeteering Britain through uncharted seas for the next decade. So who is Dominic Cummings? How did he get the Vote Leave campaign done? And what does he have planned for the future? Oh, before I forget, there's a movie out about him, a Channel 4 drama called Brexit the Uncivil War. Benedict Cumberbatch plays him. It's very good and provides invaluable insight into who he is, so you should go watch it. You know what I mean? Cummings was born in Durham on November 25, 1971. He was the son of an oil rig project manager and a special needs teacher. He attended Durham School, the grand private school in the centre of the city. His former headmaster, Michael Lang, described him as strongly supported from home, who even at a young age was clearly his own man. Not attempting to be popular, he was quick to argue, but although very bright, he was reserved. Not the classic image of a happy kid with a smile on his face. After high school, he moved on to attend Exeter College at Oxford, studying ancient and modern history. One of his professors said that it was clear that Dominic was an intransigent iconoclast from a young age, unwilling to settle for traditional conventions and ways of thinking. He said, quote, he was fizzing with ideas, unconvinced by any received set of views about anything. Something like a Robespierre, determined to bring down things that don't work. Robespierre is a French revolutionary character. If you don't know, Wikipedia on that. He graduated in 1994 and headed to Russia, where he tested his entrepreneurial side, attempting to set up an airline connecting Samara in the south with Vienna. The project was an absolute failure, and after 3 years, Cummings headed back home. At 28 years of age, Cummings became campaign director for Sterling, the campaign that worked to prevent Tony Blair's Britain from joining the euro. This was his first experience being close to power, a garment that he took liking to. He was soon headhunted to be director of strategy for then Tory leader Ian Duncan Smith. Despite being viewed as a young modernizer, he quickly fell out with party traditionalists and went as far as saying that just about the only thing less popular than the euro is the Tory party. After 8 months, he quit the job, describing Duncan Smith as incompetent. In 2010, he was appointed as the then Education Secretary's Michael Gove Chief of Staff. During this time, Cummings made a real name for himself. Grievance reports from the civil service outlined the aggressive nature of his tactics. He was described as awkward, abrupt, arrogant, aggressive, and chronically late. He'd change a meeting and he wouldn't turn up. Although he upset a lot of people and made a lot of enemies, including PM David Cameron, he saved Gove's political career twice. First over an expense scandal, and a year later when Gove's department published incorrect lists of schools whose building projects would be scrapped. So you get the point. He earned his stripes and had a brilliant, if not controversial mind, but his character caused problems within the political establishment, and he was never in the job for too long. Until the day came where Cummings finally got his chance to call the shots.
We are approaching one of the biggest decisions this country will face in our lifetimes, whether to remain in a reformed European Union or to leave.
From this point onwards, it was the Dominic Cummings show. He had a clear vision for the future. At the time, Cummings was happily unemployed, and he was recruited by a gentleman named Matthew Elliott, a political lobbyist who founded the Vote Leave campaign in 2015. Dominic was given an empty canvas to paint his masterstrokes.
For instance, remember that bus that went around falsely saying, we send the EU £350 million a week. Let's fund our NHS instead. That was Cummings. Remember the campaign slogan, Vote Leave, take back control? What are we taking control back of? Well, that was Cummings again. And it all worked. Boris Johnson used take control 7 times in his 1-minute opening statement in a TV debate in 2016. Fears about immigration, losing the NHS, and Britain losing sovereignty? That was Cummings too. But perhaps his most genius masterstroke came when he changed the British political campaigning forever, spending 40% of his budget, around £39 million, on online strategy. He collaborated secretly with a Canadian digital data mining firm called Aggregate IQ. While regular campaigners were knocking on doors, Cummings was getting info on the internet searches. He didn't focus on Remainers or Leavers. He left David Cameron and Nigel Farage to do that. He focused on targeting the digital timelines of undecided voters, which turned out to be a game changer. What was expected to be a quick victory for the Remainers turned into a historic upset with Britain voting to leave the EU. Now, of course, there's been a lot of controversy with regards to the legality of the Vote Leave campaign. In July 2018, the Electoral Commission announced Vote Leave had been found guilty of breaking electoral law by overspending following testimony from whistleblowers. The group was fined £61,000, basically a slap on the wrist for what they had done. But the journey doesn't end here for Cummings. This was only the start. Today, as senior consigliere to Boris Johnson, he's spearheading the official move away from the European Union. But more importantly, he's actually reforming government. If you take a look at his online blog, he's actively looking for misfits and weirdos. Yeah, bruv, misfits and weirdos to join the civil service. I might as well apply myself, you know what I mean? He's planning to hire data scientists, mathematicians, and startup creators to boost productivity. He's also slashing personnel and cutting flexi-time work practices. He basically wants to run the government agencies like a US military research team, introducing NASA-like protocols into the Brexit committee. His dream for the UK is to make it a school of the world, a leading nation in education and science, and wants to change the economy for the better, in his own words, making it more productive and fairer. And so, as many are left talking about Boris Johnson's hairstyle, Nigel Farage's antics, Corbyn's failed leadership, or David Cameron's mishap, it's all really about the scruffy-looking, hoodie-wearing Dominic Cummings.